Since you fucked up the macaroni and cheese, you're cleaning up all this shit by yourself. Junior, Dejana, nor me are gonna help you clean up. We told you don't put that shit in the macaroni and cheese, but you insist on putting it. So since you wanna do things your damn way, we gonna do shit our way. We getting ready to go upstairs and go to sleep while you clean up all this shit for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, we love you, but guess what? This shit ain't fair that we couldn't even get a decent thing of macaroni and cheese. We gotta wait to go back to Goose for Auntie Karen to make us some damn macaroni and damn cheese. Cause you decided to do some bullshit you done seen off the damn internet. Don't experiment on damn Thanksgiving. Don't experiment on Thanksgiving. You experiment by your damn self. Hell, don't try it with us. We don't want that shit. Auntie Karen gave you the damn recipe, but you chose to do shit on your own. Messed our shit up.
I love that clip so much. It's so perfect. It's like, yeah, don't fuck with shit on Thanksgiving. If there's one rule, it's you bring the shit that you know everybody's gonna like. Don't be doing experimental like bullshit. Don't be throwing stuff in there that you know. Oh, you saw this on a Pinterest board, and it's like, oh, that looks really cool. I bet that would be nice. And then it's like, you know, and you've never done it before, or like the chick was like, I've used that before. It's like, yeah, at your own house. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, especially when you got olds. You know, if you got olds at the dinner, like they don't want no new experimental shit. You know, I don't want no. It's Thanksgiving, especially. It's a set course. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you're a normal like like if I go to your house for Thanksgiving, I don't know what you guys have for Thanksgiving, but I can probably guess 90% of the shit you guys have for Thanksgiving. You know, unless there's some weird Indiana thing. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know what, it's turkey, maybe ham. Could do both. And if you did a ham rather than turkey, that's fine too. But turkey, maybe ham, mashed potatoes, stuffing, gravy, some sort of sweet potato dish, probably sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole is another really common one. Some sort of bread, probably good rolls. Maybe a cranberry item. And then from there, you know, some people might do a salad or something else,
Mashed potatoes,
dessert,
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, macaroni and cheese. Yeah, obviously,
corn.
Some people do macaroni and cheese.
Could be
corn. Yeah,
could be regular corn or cream corn. Either way, you're gonna have corn of some sort.
We went to my old man came down from Georgia, staying with a buddy of his, and me and the wife went over there and visited, and you know, older folks, and my dad's friend unfortunately he's had Parkinson's for like 15 years, and he's getting pretty on with it, you know. So it's good to see him and everything, but you know, he doesn't do a lot of housework, you know, so to speak, and we show up, and like within 10 seconds smoke detector chirps, you know, and I'm just like, oh man, where's your batteries? Ladder, I'm on it. I'll change all these fuckers for you. You know what I mean? Then he's like, no. And then my dad shows up, you know, and half hour later, first thing, oh man, where's your batteries in your ladder, man? I'll get the boy up to, you know, I'll get the boy up to, you know, change those for you. And finally, by the end of the night, we managed to talk him into letting us do it. So it was driving me nuts, but sorry, side tangent. So we're eating Thanksgiving dinner, traditional American Thanksgiving dinner. And one of their neighbors who they'd invited over comes over, and she's an Asian lady, like with an accent, you know, Asian lady, you know. And she's like, oh, I didn't realize we were eating so early. I just ate. So, you know, like, don't be offended if I don't eat much, kind of thing. And I feel like she must, you know, like walk through the kitchen and like saw like a weird American Thanksgiving food, you know, there's no diced squid. What the fuck? And it was just like, oh, I'm going to make some sort of excuse and not have to try it all, you know, or something. But she ended up eating a lot of it. She brought a ham, honey baked ham, which is always a winner in my opinion.
And like, you don't have to try it all. Just eat a little bit, you know, whatever you're comfortable with. At least try to be better than my son, who we have the whole spread, and he goes and gets 2 big fucking scoops of macaroni and cheese, a couple pieces of ham, and a roll. I'm like, motherfucker, there's green bean casserole, there's candied yams, there's all this other shit, and you get macaroni and cheese, ham, and a roll. Like, you're gonna be fat forever. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you.
My picky semi-autistic wife took a little bit of everything and ate it and enjoyed it. So she has a thing where her food can't touch like on a plate, like the different food items, which I'm the opposite. I like one pot meals. I want a little bit of everything in every bite, you know what I mean? But I sit down and I go, oh man, your plate looks like a CNC. You remember the cow goes moo, but it was like, there was like 8 sections all the way around, perfectly around the edges of a little bit of everything.
Did she get like plastic knives and like stick them in between to create nice little barriers so that nothing would accidentally?
Well, she's better about it now, but she definitely used to have like the like kids' plates where there's like the different sections,
Take her own for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. No, I brought my own section plate.
Yeah, I got my plate. Thank you. I've got it. I'm good. I don't need your wide open, your open floor plan plate where everything might touch each other. Like I got the nice dividers here. It's all good.
Heavily segregated.
Yeah.
Who would have expected?
She's from Milwaukee. Things are pretty segregated up there.
Who would have expected Dag's wife to be pro segregation?
What's up, Jay?
Not much, man.
Did you watch
freezing my balls off?
Dag, did you watch any football this weekend or this week so far?
Actually, I did. Yesterday there was football on. I think the Lions game, but I don't pay a ton of attention to it. But it was on.
Yep. Lions are doing everything in their power to throw that game. It seemed like
Kansas City did the same thing today.
What's funny is one half of my family tree didn't even fork until after the Okay, let me back up. All right.
Yeah, okay. Am I hearing that right?
So the Lions haven't won 10 games in a row since before my granddad was born. It was 1934 was the last time they had a 10-game winning streak. It's just one of those little fun autistic facts for the day.
The Lions football's that old?
Oh yeah.
Oh. Professional football, maybe not. The Super Bowl or something. Wasn't that like the 60s?
Yeah, the merger. But yeah, what are the classic NFL teams? It's the Giants, the Steelers. Well, no, they might not have been the first. I know it was Bears, Giants. I want to say the Packers for sure. Because they were kind of like the old hockey, old NHL, where they had the original 6 or whatever, but not it was a different number.
Yeah, Bears, Giants, Packers,
Baltimore Colts. That was another classic one.
Baltimore, the Jets.
No, Jets were AFL.
Oh, okay. So it was Jets and Chiefs were AFL.
Did we already say Giants?
Yeah. We
Okay.
said Giants like 3 times.
But did I mention the Giants?
Sorry, you remind me of somebody right now, Jay.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to find a
good or bad
picture of it. I don't know. Here,
as long as it's funny.
Did you guys hopefully? Did you guys ever watch Pee Wee Herman?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Zombie. He looks like he looks like his head's floating there in the dark room. Sorry, I can see your neck now, but I couldn't for a second. And that beard was just perfectly blended.
Hell yeah. It's better than a Max Headroom reference.
Yeah, there you go.
There he is. Dude, I never watched the show. It just wasn't I don't even know if I don't think my mom allowed me to, but I saw the movie. I like the movie.
Yeah, it's like a I don't know, it's like an on stage thing. Lawrence Fishburne and all that stuff.
Yeah, I get all the pop culture references. Yeah. He was the cowboy. Talking
2 earrings and a watch. Yeah. I like the Dirty Sailor, or whatever. What was his name? Captain whatever.
I don't know.
It was funny as hell. And then all the thing the thing happened with him whipping his dick out or whatever, and then it became everything about the Pee Wee Herman show became really faux pas. You're not supposed to. enjoy it or laugh about it or like it or anything because
it's not like he was like banging a cop in a bathroom. It was like he was at a it was at a nudie theater,
right?
So he probably wasn't the only one in there. He was just happened to be the more famous of.
Yeah, the whole thing was a big stupid sting operation. Anyhow, it's a porn theater. Let the weirdos go in there and jerk off. Who cares?
At least you know where they're at. They're off the street for like however long it takes them to climax.
Exactly. They're getting their thrills and their jollies in a safe environment, Yeah.
And like, should it really come as a surprise that Pee Wee Herman was, into some slightly kinky shit? It's like, yeah. I mean, have you watched the show? I don't know.
I heard a theory that he was trying to get away from doing kid stuff, and that's how he did it to himself. He called the tip in on himself to get busted for that. Then he doesn't have to do kid stuff anymore.
So that's how he ended up in Blow. The movie.
Like, I'm so fed up with doing this kids TV bullshit. I'm just gonna get myself arrested.
I want to do movies about cocaine.
That's what I did. The motherfucking Popeye. What? Cheers. Oh my god, my whipped cream is falling.
Should make a bowl out of a pie?
Yeah. It took me a second. Like, what the fuck is this doing?
I like the crust.
Did you say she inhaled the crust?
I think since she likes the crust.
Oh,
Or maybe that's what she said.
That's perfect. Pot pie.
Motherfucking pot pie.
let's fucking go.
I don't think I've ever made like a food bong or like a food bowl. Like people always talk about doing apples and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever done one out of food.
The what do they call it? The MacGyver smoker.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I made bongs out of stuff, water bottles,
Not an apple.
piping,
Used an
tubing. No, I'm never. Maybe it's just a generation we grew up in, but we just didn't have an abundance of apples laying around. I feel like in the olden days, like an apple was a tasty treat for a child, and then they just kind of fall short.
You pick it off and you rub it on your sleeve, then you cut a hole in it.
But we don't grow apples down here anyhow, So they're not. I don't know. Maybe in Vermont, people did a lot of apple smoking.
If Clyde was here, he could tell us, but he.
Yeah. New York apple smokers.
What about avocados? Y'all grow a lot of avocados down there? Avocados.
We do have Florida avocados. They're a little different, but yeah.
This has been my favorite little find of the day. This person says, "Dear MAGA, imagine you go to a store to buy an avocado, and it usually costs $4, but because of Donald Trump's tariffs on Mexico, the store has to pay the government a fee. So now the avocado costs $5. The store will pass that extra cost on to you, so you end up paying more. Tariffs makes things you buy more expensive." Like, do you know a lot of Trump supporters? Avocados are not high on the grocery list.
I was gonna say, like,
I'm sorry, like
it's not even like a terrible. Yeah, it's not a terrible economic argument, but pick a better item. Pick something that MAGA will care about.
Right. This
You know what I mean?
Affects you and all of your liberal friends. Like, I cannot think of a single MAGA person that gives a single solitary fuck about avocados.
All this shady beef that they import without labels, it's going to cost more. So I guess you have to buy American beef now.
Dude, okay, here's a great sketch. Okay, it's like some Trumper, and their Trumper family, and let's go stereotypical hilarious Trumper. You know what I mean? Got a big truck, flag on the outside, maybe a Trump hat, this that, and they do enjoy Mexican food. Don't think they don't. But they go into their local Mexican restaurant that they love, and they go to order their fucking guacamole, and it's 50 cents more expensive or something, and they're just, what the hell is this? That he takes off his hat, throws it on the ground, stomps on it, his Trump hat, of course, gets so upset because of the avocado price increase.
I didn't want to pay extra for my guacamole.
You screwed me, Trump.
So I actually ended up going down like a huge rabbit hole on this and did way too much research. And apparently the United States imports like 2 billion pounds of avocados from Mexico every year. We produce somewhere in the neighborhood of like 870 million pounds domestically and then import another 2 billion. Like, who the fuck is buying that many avocados? Like,
there's not a lot of meat on an avocado. It's mostly pit. So it takes a lot of avocados to make a guacamole.
Gotta buy a whole fucking pound just to get a nice little bowl of guacamole. It's like
the trade industry, like advertisements they do. There was a whole one for avocados from Mexico. Had a nice jingle, avocados from Mexico.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, you familiar? Yeah, avocados from Mexico. Yeah, man, they're pushing the Mexican avocados on us. What were you saying, Jay? Before I rudely cut you off,
I forgot. I think it was going to be something about like there's like so much crap that we make here that we export that we could just use to sell here. Like that's not just like stuff we grow, just like other things too.
Yeah, I mean the only reason we import so much stuff that we eat is because we want to have it year round.
Yeah,
it's like you want strawberries year round. Well, guess what? They're coming from fucking South America,
and they taste like shit. They have that flavor, because as compared to something you grow yourself.
Yeah, so I like the fact that I can get whatever I want anytime, but if you really want to enjoy the food you eat, fucking eat it seasonally,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the it's usually the urban city dwellers that like are accustomed. They don't know where their food comes from too. So I mean, they wouldn't, maybe they do go to like a artisanal farmer's market or something, but even then, that it's seasonal.
Well, yeah, and people just don't. Most people don't realize like where stuff comes from. Like again, like people come to our farmers markets down here from like Vermont, and they're like, "How come there's not 20 booths selling wonderful, delicious produce?" And it's like because it's July, like nothing, And even in the winter, it's not that kind of area,
This just reminds me about this guy I work with, right? He's like one of those. He's 22. He lived in a city most of his life. And I blew his mind the other day because he didn't know that raisins came from grapes. And then he's like, wait. And then he started putting 2 and 2 together. And he's like, prunes and plums? He's like, yeah. And then I was like, just me being a smartass, I was like, man, your mind's going to be blown when you find out that pickles are just pickled cucumbers. He's like, wait. I was like, you're not joking. You're screwing with me. He's like, no, I'm serious. I didn't know that. So anyway, the other day,
craisins aren't their own thing.
So anyway, the other day he comes in. I'm on my break eating a snack, and he's like, "I think I know some knowledge about something you don't know. Did you know there's no such thing as a paprika plant?" I was like, "Well, technically, it's a pepper that you crush up. So I mean, there's pepper plants." I was like, "Dude, now I'm."
I hung his head and walked out of the room.
Well, no, I had to hit him with another one. I was like, "Man, you're gonna have your mind blown when you find out that cinnamon is just tree bark."
What do you tell him about artificial vanilla?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if he's ready for that one.
Yeah, you might want to ease your way into that. Here we go. Found it.
What's up, Coach?
Yeah, Troy.
You're not going to start this game?
Oh.
Jingle.
You just mean that you're going to bench me to the avocados from Mexico jingle?
Well, they make everything better. Tastes good? Good for you?
No way. Guacamole. That's cool.
That one better than I thought. Get another tray and the kicker.
Speaking of guacamole, this little guy loves it.
Oh, that was actually kind of a funny commercial.
This is my guacamole eating house. You say hi?
Oh, sorry, it's hard to because it's dark in there. It just looked like you were holding a blanket. I didn't see there was a child in your lap. There you go. What's up, little guacamole?
Do you like guacamole? Yeah. Your Harmony makes it for you.
It's guacamole, Dad.
Good night. Love you.
You and your accents. We're in America. Go back to Mexico. Oh, fuck.
So one thing that I have heard, like, because you know how like you are what you eat, and like what things to eat, obviously, makes the meat taste different. I heard like so East Coast, we have these things called blueberry bears. So if you go bear hunting, and when you go to butcher it, you notice like a lot of the fat tissue is purplish. It means they've been eating a lot of blueberries, and the meat actually tastes a little bit sweeter. So apparently in California they call them like guacamole bears, but they get into the avocado farms and start eating them, and they're like full of fat, and it's supposed to like make their meat actually taste a little bit better too.
Avocado's got that good fat.
Mm-hmm. Junk.
It's funny because Dag and I were just talking about this the other day with the with like chickens and different fish and stuff. Like, so when I was down in Mississippi, they had a pretty severe drought, and there was a bunch of big chicken farms down there that like like Tyson and Pilgrims, but I can't remember what the main one down there was. Anyway, there was a really bad drought coming into corn season, corn harvest, and it was looking like there was going to be a massive shortage. Well, they had like a bumper wheat crop, and we're sitting on like literally millions of bushels of wheat that we have no market for, and looking like things are going to be short on the corn side of things. And so we started doing some research, and like it turns out that feeding wheat, especially when you're finishing the chickens out, like getting them ready to slaughter, feeding them wheat actually produces a higher protein, better quality meat for the chickens. But the problem is it creates a grayish tint to the fatty tissue. And so it makes it look a little bit funny. So even though it's a better quality meat,
nobody wants to buy it.
Right, it won't sell because people think there's something wrong with it. And even though it's not. It's actually the complete opposite. It's better meat, but because of the appearance, and it's the same. We had a big customer that they exclusively bought white corn. They did. It was one of those like tank raised fish that they sell to the Asian restaurants and stuff, and they exclusively bought white corn to use for the feed for the fish, because if they fed them yellow corn, it made the meat turn a yellowish tint, and they didn't want that yellow color to it. So they had to feed them white corn, because with the white corn, the meat wouldn't change colors. It's like just weird little shit like that in the food industry and stuff, is like, especially the industrial food industry. Like if Dag is selling chickens and he explains to somebody like, yeah, that's actually really normal and totally not a bad thing. Like it's a higher quality meat. Don't worry about that like slightly grayish tint. That's because of the feed that we're giving them to finish them out to make a better quality meat for you. Then yeah, that's fine. But if you're just like trying to sell it on the shelf, Don the pleb, he does chickens and stuff, and like there was the big like mass killings of the chickens because of the bird flu shit back earlier in the year, and I can't remember how many millions of chickens it was that were killed, but people were talking about, oh well, I have chickens at home, and like with our chickens, they're still producing eggs. It's not like you're going to have this big like drop in egg production. And Don like explains it. He's like, yeah, okay. But the number of chickens you need laying eggs to get the nice big, like grade A, extra large egg that can actually that can actually go in the carton that's going to be sold in the store. Like when you lose all of these mature layers, and now you're replacing them with, okay, sure, you've got all of the new layers that you're replacing them with, but you're talking 6, 8, 10 months before those are actually up to speed laying the right size egg that you can put it in that fucking carton. Like, yeah, you might be able to eat all the eggs you want off of what those chickens are laying. That doesn't mean any of those eggs are going to go in the carton that's going to go in the store.
Yeah, because you got like, let's say chickens have like a 2-year laying life, like commercially, the first year, might be like, regular eggs, large, and then like make it like jumbos for the second year. But yeah, it's it's a constant cycle of replacing said laying flock. And if, throw a hitch in that. So that was egg laying birds, not meat birds that they had to cull like that, or maybe a little bit of both.
I believe it was predominantly egg layers, not so much the meat birds.
It was
from what I had read about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cycle mine out now because they're 3 years old now, and they they had their winter molt, and they just started laying. The only thing I got laying right now are the I think I showed you a picture of the Elvis chickens, but they're like a bantam breed, so they're like barely bigger than a quail egg.
Yeah.
So I really can't sell those right now. Nobody wants to buy them.
What if the whole bird flu thing is just like an elaborate like insurance scam? So like let's say like the egg company, right? They got to change out their flock anyhow, but it's like, how do I get, somebody else to pay for this? And then you go, oh, bird flu, we just got to kill them all and replace them. And then they get to claim like a fucking like $6 billion loss on their fucking insurance or taxes or something.
I mean, I wouldn't like be shocked. I mean,
we know it's a scam one way or another. I mean, maybe this isn't like a secondary benefit that they get out of it.
It's a conspiracy by Big Quavo.
Yeah. Big Wavo raining down on us again.
Got his boot on my neck.
Yeah. Oh shit.
I would not put it past him, honestly.
Yeah, nothing surprises me anymore.
I had a Puerto Rican friend, and I'd sell his mom eggs, and he hated the fact that she referred to me as his friend with the nice huevos.
Because it has a double meaning in Spanish.
Yeah. Yep. But she's a nice, clean, religious woman and doesn't realize what she's saying. Or maybe she does. Dude, he was saying that she had like participated in exorcisms and stuff like that. Like,
oh hell yeah.
Like really like Latino religious.
So Santeria type stuff.
I mean, like, like, I don't know, like Christian based, but people get possessed and
yeah,
yeah, I guess that twist. Yeah, I guess that's the thing, because they take it to the extreme. So, they take Christianity and make it.
Well, that's that whole like stupid neocon argument. Like, well, at least these immigrants coming here are good old Christians. I'm like, yeah, but they sacrifice chickens too.
There's levels, yeah. There's levels. Like, I'm sure some of them are also devout Catholics, but Catholics sacrifice other things.
We're not going to.
Sorry, that happened a long time ago. I'll stop.
We're not going to talk about what the Jays sacrificed. We'll just leave that.
Foreskins.
Well, chickens also. Have you seen? Okay, I don't want to go down to that road too long, but have you seen the garbage bins of dead chickens after one of those holidays? We probably can't pull it up.
Away?
Yeah.
Seems
I figured they'd eat them. I mean, you can't just, you can't. They're poor. They don't just let food go to waste.
If you put your, have you seen their rules about eating? Like they take,
who are we talking about?
They take your segregation on the plate more seriously.
I don't know which one we're talking about. No, to answer your question. Oh, okay, well, whatever. We'll just play this video.
How did the black chick know she was pregnant?
I don't know how she know.
When she pulled her tampon out, all the cotton was already picked.
That is so. Oh, that is so.
So what happens when you mix monkey DNA with human DNA? I don't know. You get kicked out the zoo.
They sing wow.
Girl, that's vibrato. Sorry, that's our content tonight, is the Instagram.
Oh, that's fine.
We got there's another one Justin said he was going to put as an intro for tonight, which he didn't, which is fine. We'll just play it. Just
could just watch Jared Lorenzen highlights.
Oh God, I could watch Jared Lorenzen highlights forever.
Dude, there was like a bunch of funny Thanksgiving memes, and basically the meme was me playing, like talking about how you play football family on holidays. It's like me playing quarterback in the backyard after 12 deviled eggs, turkey, ham, stuffing, 7 Hawaiian rolls, a casserole, and an apple pie. And then it just shows like a highlight video of him because he was known as the hefty lefty. He was a big boy. He was like a 300-pound quarterback.
Yeah, Jared Lorenzen.
This is him. Yeah, this is him in college at Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, that is a big fella.
He had like he always gave me like Chris Farley vibes, where he was like a big guy but still athletic.
that dude could move. Like he was 6'5". I think his playing weight in college was like 320. And then after college, like when he was doing some of the like arena league, CFL type stuff, he got like up over 400. And
what was funny is he was the owner and quarterback of the same team when he was doing the arena ball.
But like he could move. He was surprisingly nimble and quick for 6'5", 320 pounds. So I got to see him like, okay, Dag, you've met me. So like he and I are the same height. I've been around like college football and basketball players most of my life. Like I worked around college basketball programs. Mississippi State had a dude that was 7'4". They had another guy that was like 7'1". They had some big motherfuckers. I shared a desk with the nose tackle, with like Mississippi State's starting nose tackle in English, and he was like 6'2", 6'3", 315 or so. Jared Lorenzen made me feel tiny in a way that none of those other people did. Like to be like within 5 feet or so of Jared Lorenzen and just like his sheer size, it's fucking terrifying. I couldn't imagine him like breaking out of the pocket and running at a DB. Like if you
have to try to make that tackle.
Right. If you're like a 5'10", 185-pound DB and you see this guy 6'5", 320 pounds barreling down on you, it's just like, fuck it, I give up. I'm dead. Like I'm about to get steamrolled.
That's
like,
what
he was
my
mad.
old coach would say. You're going for a ride. Don't forget Super Bowl champion winning Jared Lorenzen.
Yeah, he was on the Giants when he was quarterback on the Giants when they won one of their Super Bowls. Was it the first one? I think it was the first one.
It was the first one when Eli. Yeah, that was that the catch on the helmet game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, was that the same year that they would have been perfect if they won that?
No, that was. Yeah, that might have been the year that. The Patriots would have had a perfect season if they had won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Thank you, Eli Manning.
The Giants were like huge underdog in that one. Like the other Super Bowl that the Giants won, they had actually put together like a really good season, and they were like number 1 in the NFC East and everything. But that first Super Bowl, they were like wild card team, and it was like miracles all the way across the board for them to even get to the Super Bowl and then to win it the way they did.
Were they or the Steelers? I can't remember like which one came first. Was like they were like the first wild card team to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't remember which one was first either.
So I want to say that when they won the one in Detroit with the bus, I think they were a wild card in that one. The Steelers. I don't know. I'm getting my years mixed up.
We've delved off into like deep analysis football talk. And Dag's checked out.
Hey, welcome to Clock Management, Dag.
As Native Americans,
no.
What?
You are not a Native American.
I'm Native to America.
You were born in Tulsa.
I have a niece too that says she's 198th Cherokee.
Well, she may be. That's the one with the learning disability, correct?
The dream catcher back tattoo.
Well, same thing, I guess.
Doug was recently diagnosed with a life-threatening nut allergy. So this Thanksgiving, we'll be participating in
No Nut November. I can't have nuts in my mouth anymore.
If you have nut in your throat, it'll swell shut. We need to abstain from nuts.
I got a little bit of nut in my eye the other year, and I couldn't hardly get it open.
In order to prepare for Thanksgiving feast, Doug and I cleanse our colons, or as we call it,
colonize. We have no reservations about it whatsoever. Remember last year where we tried to eat that Mexican and Indian food, clean out our colons?
Oh, the ethnic cleansing.
Ethnic cleansing is our favorite kind of colonizing. After a hearty Thanksgiving feast, Dick and I like to polish off some knobs.
It's not Thanksgiving if you don't polish off a knob with your friends. Doug is one of the biggest knob gobblers I ever met in my whole life. Remember last year when you let that homeless guy polish off your knob?
Well, the homeless need to polish knobs more than anybody.
Well, I'm just glad your knob is older than 8 years old. Last year he had an 8-year-old knob. It didn't taste too good.
No, you
like 8-year-old knob, Doug. Everybody knows.
No, cut that. Let's cut that out.
This Thanksgiving.
These guys are funny.
That is very.
Yeah, the ethnic colon cleanse fucking killed me. Yes, Lord.
I don't use Instagram enough to be able to like. Yeah, I got nothing.
Well, I was freaking out for a second. I was trying to find it on Instagram and was like, "Oh man, they must have deleted it. It was too funny." And then I was like, "Oh wait, that's Facebook." Okay, no, Facebook.
I basically only use Instagram to send Dag and Jim funny reels that I come across. Like I'll be sitting at work, bored as shit, scrolling, and I'll see dumb, funny shit, and so I'll just send it to Dag or Jim. Some stuff I send to Jim that don't send to Dag, because there are some things that might cross some friend lines. I'm not sure how Dag would feel about everything that I think is funny. So try to be respectful.
Oh, shit. But I'm almost curious, but I'll just let it be. It's for the best. I trust your decision.
It's like, ooh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's not for everybody on my friends list.
Ooh, that's not for me. Oh, that's not for me at all.
Some people might think
kind of funny.
You ever like send like a meme or a funny joke and you know how like sometimes you think you put their name in to text it, but for some reason it pulls up the last person that texted you, and then you hit send and you're like, shit, ignore that, mom.
Yeah. Yes, I do a lot of double checking. Also, what's cool is that, you know, all my cool friends use Signal. So if there's a mistake in Signal, I can usually be like, yeah, that's funny, huh? That was totally for you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I guess that's one way to like not accidentally send something to my elderly neighbors.
Yeah.
We let Sean have Facebook, so now Sean sends me reels in Facebook Messenger all the time. And the other day I was like, God, letting you have Facebook might have been a mistake. Hey, some of the shit he finds, I'm like, dude.
Well, dude, my
does your mom know that you're like does your mom know that you're watching these reels and sending this stuff to me? Because I'm pretty sure she would not be happy with it. Of course, his dumb ass
like dirt, or is it like, I don't know, different generation stuff that you don't find funny? So you're like, what the fuck is this? This is stupid.
No, it's stuff that I find funny. It's like,
okay,
but it's like adult humor stuff that he should.
Yeah, it feels weird hearing him say it.
Right. It's like there's lines that should not be crossed. Like,
yeah, I feel weird playing games with you guys sometimes, because like if Justin had said it, I'd be like, oh, it's hilarious. And when he says it, I'm like, all right, that's funny, but I don't know what your dad would think.
I shouldn't be encouraging this. That doesn't feel right.
I think it's funny too, but then like it feels weird for me because there's like lines being crossed as he's the kid, and I'm like, what would your mom say if she heard you say that? That's where I go with it, because you got
give yourself some plausible deniability, I guess,
right,
a little bit.
Right, and then when she's like, "What is this?" I can be like, I told him. What if your mom saw this? Like, how would she feel?
The look on your face. That was perfect. Perfect. I told him. What you want me to do? It's boys will be boys.
You're the one that let him have the fucking phone. All right, I was never in favor of the phone. This is on me. Although I have been trying to talk her into letting him get Twitter or X. Because I was like, there's some like good accounts that we follow on there that like they post good shit. It's stuff that because one of the things that yes, very. And one of the things that she had concerns about following the election was because I asked a question. I was like, all right, so like what rights have women lost? Like what's the problem here? And so she actually like sent me it was actually a close friend of hers was the one that like went completely off the fucking reservation talking about like brain chips in infants and stuff like that, and like apparently this chick is like fully off the reservation, and so she was like sending my ex screenshots of the whole thing. I was like, good God. And my ex texts me and says, I'm really kind of worried about her. I think there might be something wrong with her. I was like, okay, thank God. Like I thought maybe it was just me. Yes. All right, cool. But anyway, so she like answered my question. And one of the things that she had concerns about was like, young men, Sean's age and in that generation, finding the wrong role models as things are kind of changing and stuff. I was like, if you want him to find like the right role models, I was like, I know a lot of those dudes, and like we could get him following them and paying attention to them and the things that they say. But I also realized that there are also a lot of people that we find hilarious that he would probably end up glomming onto a lot quicker than he would the ones that I think are excellent role models that he should probably be paying attention to.
Like AB or John Rocker?
Correct. Like, they're perfect, but also like maybe not so perfect for a 16-year-old.
The hero we need, but not the one we deserve. So
I'm watching King of the Hill. Need to ingrain that Hank Hill into him. That's a good male role model.
Somehow he hasn't seen any King of the Hill. Like, he's familiar with the characters and stuff, but he's never actually watched an episode. And I'm like, all right, we got to sit down and like remedy that apparently.
So I noticed this yesterday. I'm not up to date on a lot of like modern music or whatever. But apparently this Lainey Wilson was a country singer, and that's what she used to look like. And that's her at the Cowboys game yesterday on Ozempic. Exhibit A. Exhibit B.
Weight, obviously. Yeah.
And no, it's not Jelly Roll. Standing next to him makes her look skinny, which it does, but you know, Exhibit E, Exhibit B.
I didn't even realize it was a person. I thought that was a speaker stack that she was just standing next to there until you said something.
Right.
Holy shit, that is Jelly Roll. Yeah. I mean, obviously my eyes were averted towards the subject matter that we were talking about there, you know.
Giving it a good inspection.
Yeah.
Apparently everybody's on that Ozempic shit now. And like it's obvious. And what's funny is like we knew that it like made your bone density go down, but apparently they've also found out recently it shrinks your heart too.
Really?
Yeah.
Who would have thought taking a stomach paralytic could have side effects?
Yeah. You know, it's for diabetics. But you know, I can't go exercise, so I'll just take pills.
Yeah. Well, you know, I got to be honest. Sometimes I feel like I have a food addiction. I get like hungry. Yeah. I eat a lot. I like eating.
That's just the munchies, man.
I know it might be another kind of addiction.
I actually got with Odermat and got some of the plexus stuff, like the gut biome stuff. I've been having a lot of trouble with indigestion and shit. And I tried changing my diet. I tried drinking more water, cutting out sodas, all kinds of stuff, and like nothing put a dent in it. I'm still having some like really major indigestion problems. I'm like, all right, dude, I see you talk about this shit all the time. Like, tell me what you got. And he explained the products that they have and some of the issues that people have and why they have them. I was like, yep, sounds exactly like what I've been going through. It's like, tell me what you recommend for it. And so I got my shit in today, and I took some. It's not terrible. I was expecting it to be a lot grosser, and it's not gross at all. I actually got a different flavor. And Stephanie was sitting there when I was like drinking the stuff. She was like, "How bad is it?" I was like, "It's actually not bad at all. It tastes pretty good, huh?" Pleasantly surprised.
Did you say that at any point in time in the recent history have you been shitting banana pudding? Like, whoa, that's a real question. It's like, yeah, you know, it's a common thing, believe it or not. It's something people say very regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At least in our group chat. I don't know about other group chats, but
I found one of your home movies. This is a young Justin at a festival learning the line dance.
Fucking Slender Man, yo.
It's funny, like he looks so much like he doesn't look as young now that he doesn't cut his, or now that he cut his hair.
Dude, there is something about Justin's beard that when he doesn't have a beard, he looks like he's in high school and is still going through puberty. But when he has the beard, he's like a regular man. But any picture I see him without a beard, I'm like, that's a 17-year-old kid who like works at fucking McDonald's, dude. look at that little baby face.
It's part of the reason that I just don't shave it anymore, because like
it's a good move. Yeah, keep the beard.
You're talking about like the looking young thing. Like whenever I like stop to get dip or anything, or like cigars or something, I never get carded, go to movie theaters. Like, so, my wife, we went to a movie one time, an R-rated movie, and I didn't get carded, but she did.
At an R-rated movie, but you're her chaperone anyhow. You just have to be accompanied by someone of age. You're just taking this underage girl Sorry to this rated R movie,
right?
For a no nefarious, who you obviously aren't related to, for no
Obviously.
reason.
Several years ago, when I just had the goatee before I grew the full beard out, when my stepson was living at home with us, we had gone to Walmart to get some shit, and while we were there, I grabbed like a 6 or a 12 pack of beer, and so I'm going through the checkout line, and you know they have to come up and like check your ID and everything, and he's like, I got to see his ID too. I was like, what? He was like, I'm not allowed to sell this to you if y'all are like he thought we were like college students or something. I was like, I'm his dad. Like, you don't need to see his ID.
I'll get him drunk if I want.
Like, oh, my bad. I thought y'all were like college kids or something. Like, no, I'm like fucking 35. Just let me check out. God.
Must be like call to your son more than anything.
And it happens.
Dude, he thought you were my age.
It happens all the time with Sean now. Like, every time we go somewhere, they're like, one check or two. Like, you don't want to go sit at the bar? I'm like, he can't sit at the bar. Yes, I would love to, but no, he can't go. Like, we get that all the time. And it's just because he's gigantic. Like,
Baby Huey.
Yeah.
I don't know why, like, that just reminded me of this old news report from the 80s. I think I've shared this one with you guys before. It's an oldie and a goodie.
Any attempt at drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't
Amen.
want to. You can't. You
Look at
have
that car seat.
that when
I
you're
know.
driving.
80s, man.
Baby's
Chris, it was
race
a-
crash pad. Wow. Hey, they had to start somewhere.
Hey, in the state of Mississippi, it is still legal to drink and drive as long as you are below the legal limit. If you if you can blow below a 0.8, you are good to go. Like, I think there might be other states too, but I know Mississippi.
Yeah, there's. I'll look it up here because they vary state to state. So I'll look it up. And I know there's like some places had like drive-through daiquiri places, and it's something like as long as you're using a straw.
Louisiana.
Drink this thing. Yeah, Louisiana.
I think it's Louisiana.
Yeah, I know Louisiana has weird ones. I think that's the one with the daiquiri places. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's the state back when cockfighting was still a thing. And my dad used to do it. He always warned me about going to Louisiana because their state troopers exercise the civil asset forfeiture thing really, really bad. And it's like, what are you going to do? I got all this cash on me. I'm going, the cockfight's legal, but the gambling isn't. So it's like, oh, they basically just rob you when they pull you over.
So like in Kentucky, they have drive-through liquor stores, and it was always fun to go through the drive-through liquor store because they like you have to show them your ID, but you don't have to actually show them your ID. Like there's a camera pointed at the window to make sure that they're like taking and checking IDs, but it doesn't have to be your ID. They're like, just hand me a library card or something. Like the camera just needs to see me look at something and then hand it back to you. Like they don't give a shit. Like, or you can just hand me your ID, even though it says that you're clearly 18 years old. It doesn't matter. We just have to have the camera see that we looked at something and then gave it back to you, that we checked your ID.
What was pretty funny was like during the lockdown shit, like all these states that were like really, I don't know, for lack of a better word, really conservative when it came to alcohol laws. It was just funny how like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we'll just give them booze. We'll lock them in their homes. But yeah, you can go to Chili's, order takeout, and, you know, we'll put a couple daiquiris and, you know, some Jose Cuervo. What do you call those things? I don't drink a lot of tequila. What's the mixed drink? Tequila?
Margarita.
Yeah, those things. Margaritas.
Yeah, margaritas are good.
And as long as they put like a tape over the lid and the straw, then it was completely legal, even in Tennessee, to like, which would still technically be an open container, but that little piece of tape made it not an open container.
Gotta love them technicalities.
Right. Hell yeah. It's like the brown bag, you know, hey, suddenly it's not illegal anymore.
Sir, I'm drinking orange juice. Sure, there's some old English mixed in with it, but it's mostly orange juice.
You got to put your drink in an old gasoline container and drink it out of that. That really freaks them out.
Well, nobody will want to mess with you then. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. Get out of my way.
It's like that one meme. I wish I could find it. It's like making fun of the become ungovernable meme, but it was like become unapproachable. And it's like a guy with like, I think I've showed you that before, Justin. He's got like a dog and like his haircut and just the way he's dressed. It's like, oh man, life goals. That way I don't get people coming up asking stupid questions.
Bars may not use anything related to religious holidays to promote business. This includes promoting drinks by referring to Santa Claus. Apparently, Santa's butt beer would still be illegal. I guess that's a thing.
Santa's butt beer.
That doesn't
Yeah,
sound.
there's a sign for it here. Yeah, I don't know.
I'd rather have Saint Pauli girl.
All right, let's see. We got Florida. They hopefully have some good ones. A bunch about champagne bottle sizes. Who gives a shit?
Well, it's like here in Tennessee. What is it? The Jack Daniels that the distillery is in a dry county.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that
Oh
crazy?
yeah. Lynchburg.
Yeah, the second best Lynchburg. Virginia has a really good one because it's in the mountains there. It's beautiful.
So Mississippi has the package stores. They can't sell beer and liquor in the same store. So they have it's a store. It's one building, but it has a door on either side, and they have like a wall down the middle of it. And so the stuff that qualifies as beer or like not hard liquor is on one side, and then the actual hard liquors are on the other side. So if you want to get you a 12-pack of beer and a bottle of bourbon, you got to go in this store and buy the bourbon over here, and then go put that in your truck, and then go into the other store and buy your beer over there. So like when we at work are putting together orders for that, like the people who are picking the orders and getting it all sorted and everything, they're like, there will be like 8 or 10 different orders on one truckload that's going to Mississippi. And they're like, what the fuck is all of this shit? I'm like, when you go to Mississippi and you go to one of their package stores and you see the way that this shit is split between the different buildings, the building with the wall down the middle, if it's even a real wall, sometimes it's just a partition that they put up. But like, you see the way that they split this shit out, all of this makes more sense. And yes, it is every bit as fucking insane as you expect it to be from looking at the way the paperwork is done. It's like, I'm sorry. That's the way the law is there. Like,
there's a strip club in West Virginia that has one of those crappy partitions where this side has like naked girls fun time, and then the other half is a gay bar. So you can imagine the parking lots.
God damn, where is this going?
or man, what if you're like a little? I wasn't over there. I was just a little drunk and lost. I was trying to go to the bathroom, and I ended up on the wrong side.
We went to this one time, and that was the only time. I'm like, dude, fuck this.
Josh was like, this is not for me. Like that's for me. That no. This is so because that's not for me. None of this is for me.
I'm gonna protect this fucking border like the Dominicans do against the Haitians. Shoot on sight if you cross.
It's just a sexporium. They sell a little of this and a little of that, man. It's it's on you if you can't pick the right door. They specialize in naked people. All right, you're lucky you get a partition.
I didn't think this half of the building was supposed to have holes in the bathroom.
Turns out.
Hey man, I've told a story before about accidentally using the wrong restroom. That'd be a terrible place to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, this old dude that my granddad and dad used to farm for. He went down to Tunica to the boat one time, and so on the boat, the way it used to be, the men's restrooms were on one side of the boat and the women's restrooms were on the other side of the boat. And he got to drinking a little bit and got turned around.
As you do.
And he went into the women's restroom and like went in there and sat down and had himself a nice big shit. And as he's like finishing up and getting ready to get up to leave, he hears these women come in just to cackling and talking and carrying on. So he's like sits back down and like, oh shit, like waits for them to leave. And then they finally leave, and he's like, "All right, time to get up," and goes to open the like scene out of a comedy movie. Like as he gets ready to get out, two more come in. So then he like sits back down and closes the door, and he's like, "All right, gotta wait." And finally, after it happens like the third time, he just got up and put his head down and walks out. He's like, "Sorry, I got in the wrong room. I just gotta get out of here."
Does Pennsylvania still have their laws? Because I know like you couldn't buy beer at a gas station there. You had to go to a distribution center, which is like just a beer store. And then, but if like you go to a bar, bars actually kept extra 6-packs in cases that like, hey, the beer distribution center's closed. I could just go to Chili's and buy a 6-pack.
Yes, yeah.
6-packs are sold only by bars and cases.
Okay,
by beer distributors.
So I was half remembering that correctly.
Yeah, it's impossible to buy beer and spirits at the same location. Same is true of beer and wine.
That's how Virginia is too, where they have a monopoly on spirits, but you could buy wine in grocery stores. Which was the opposite of Tennessee. Like they just switched it so you can get wine in grocery stores, but they also have a bunch of bullshit regulations. Like you guys know my job. Like I don't work in that like section of the company, but I still have to be legally certified to sell wine. That's just how Tennessee is because they're TABC. You got to grease their gears a little bit.
Missouri, you can buy hard.
Do I know your job? I thought you did something totally different that had anything to do with selling wine. Sorry,
I don't.
Okay, okay then. So it is that crazy of a law. Okay.
Yeah. What were you saying about Missouri?
Oh, Missouri, you can buy hard liquor at a gas station. Like they have all of it at the gas station.
That's how I think that's how Alabama is too, or at least I know grocery stores sell hard liquor.
Yeah, ours do not.
And that's funny because Alabama is still one of the highly government controlled. It's one of the ABC states. So that's really crazy because most of the other ABC states are like Mississippi and Pennsylvania and Virginia and Montana, where it's all split up and like they're super strict about the regulations and shit. It's crazy that Alabama is one of the ABC states, but also like really lax on their.
What's funny is like we've driven down to Costco's down there, and I don't know if it still is because I don't really keep up with it, but the Kirkland signature brand of vodka was Grey Goose. It just had a Kirkland sticker on it. Same as their scotch was just Johnny Walker. You could buy it in bulk for super cheap, and that's why people would make the drive down to Alabama.
Which I guess it kind of makes sense that some states might be more lax even with the ABC stuff because it's just a way for the government to extract extra fees out of it. Like it's a prohibition era continuation of shit. Like it's not really.
That's why they hate vaping so much. They already got their racket where they overtax tobacco, and that they don't want tobacco to go out of business. That's why vaping comes up. And yeah, you look gay with a robot dick, but I mean, you do your own thing. It's just my opinion.
What's gay about this? Ooh, it's so good. Come on, that's the manliest thing you've ever seen.
They were trying to like ban like flavored vapes and all this other bullshit. I didn't like.
Yeah.
Was it like Juul that had to move out of California because they were like going so hard on the regulation?
California's real bad, but yeah, there's an FDA thing where basically they like you have to go through this new FDA approval process to put any vaping device on the market, and it costs like millions of dollars or something insane. So it basically means that and that's for every product. So if you have like a line of products, it's for everything. So basically they regulated newcomers out of the market. So the Juuls and the Views and the whatever, they were, I guess, sort of grandfathered in, or they went through the process. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it happened a few years back. So that's why they got rid of the flavors and they don't really have them anymore. It can only be like tobacco flavors.
It's weird.
Or they have a menthol.
It was weird when the Biden administration first got in and was like, we're going to ban flavored cigarettes. And then everyone's like, even menthol? He's like, I guess menthol's okay. Because, voter demographics.
Yeah, it's classic. You can't. I mean, menthol cigarettes have been around forever, but mango cigarettes, that might be new. You could argue that.
You may remember this better than I do, Dag, but I never kept up with it because I don't give a shit about Ohio. But when Ohio was looking to legalize weed, I don't know if the law passed that way or what, or even went through. But basically, they were going to give like 4 companies a monopoly on the selling and distribution of it.
That was why it failed. Actually,
Did it actually fail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was why that was like exclusively why it failed. And like it was funny because there were a lot of like really pro marijuana advocates who were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they failed it. How could they fail it?" These bunch of like crazy
they don't read the fine print
that are so anti-weed. And then when you start explaining to them like, actually, the way this was written, it's better that it failed. But then when you explain it to them, it's like, oh wow, we didn't realize that. It's like, yeah, that like.
Was that how the Florida one was written recently, this past election?
Yeah, it was, and I believe I
didn't read it all. From what I was hearing, like it was kind of like had little like fuckery in there like that.
Yeah, so it's like just a couple companies, and I think it might be like Johnny Morgan who might own.
Morgan and Morgan
might own some of said companies. The guy who went through a ton of effort to get it like legalized medicinal and now legalized recreationally. Like don't think there ain't I don't know.
You would think like
on the back end,
Yeah, you would think like having one of the biggest law firms in this part of the country would make it off. I guess he does have to pay off a lot of people because he gets really fucking hammered in Central Florida bars and gets kicked out a lot.
Dude,
he sleeps on park benches.
That's why he has his own driver and chicks. He's got too many DUIs. Old Wayne used to work at a place that he owned, and he'd come through 9 a.m. with his big gulp full of fucking liquor.
Well, dude, I have a couple friends.
Where's makeup because he has like liver spots and shit. God, he's gonna sue us. Fuck. We love you, John. I swear.
I allegedly heard
I love you
from my alleged friends that live in the alleged area of alleged Orlando and Lake shit. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Yeah, Lake shit. Yeah, I live near.
Yeah, Lake shit. Yeah. Some land of lakes. I don't know. There we go.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. This dude sounds awesome. I would drink with him every single day, starting at 9 a.m.
I have friends that have seen him like passed out drunk on a public bench before. Yeah. That's why I was always bringing that joke up.
Well, it was a big deal years ago when they were getting medicinal legal here. Of course, Grady Judd, my sheriff, was like the anti-voice of the legalized medicinal movement. So like, they did debates against each other, like televised debates and shit like that, or at least on the radio, and all that, back in the day. And there was this video, it was at this bar called Duke's, and it was a country bar. They, had concerts there and did line dancing and this and that, actually pretty big place. It was a video of him there one night, just hammered off his ass, dude. He's buying shots for like the whole bar, and he's like giving this speech. He's like, I'll tell you what, as soon as my limo gets out of Polk County, I'm gonna be blazing that shit up, but not till then, because Grady Judd scares the shit out of me. Like, dude, it's just, he's so fucking hammered, dude. Such a fucking trip, man. But yeah, that's a common thing with the states doing that and then some people, like, I have friends who are like, nah, fucking, like, I don't give a fuck. I just want to not get arrested for smoking weed. I don't care who's selling it to me. So that, they don't give a shit. And I get that. You know what I mean? If hey, man, if I cannot go to jail, a lot of people might not give much of a shit. I'm autistic like Justin, and I feel I also don't like those, like, I love if we got it passed. Like, I want it to be like fucking Michigan, where like you can grow your own and this and that, and it's actually fucking legal.
Right. I feel you with that. I agree. But also, the double-edged sword of what happened to Colorado. Like, it's not hard to get weed. So, we already have too many California. You're more used to the transplants, because in Florida, everybody fucking retires and moves there.
Yeah.
We've just had like a retarded amount of fucking Californians and Illinoisans move here. And I'm afraid, like, if they do like go through with like full legalization like Colorado did, like it flips from like red to blue overnight because all the fucking hipsters move there, or whatever they're calling themselves these days.
Well, Colorado was one of the first, so there might have been a big, green rush, so to speak, when it happened. But I don't know. Now it's like almost like out of the norm to not be legal, or basically
True.
legal. Like
True.
in some sense. Which, by the way, I remember thinking like here like a few months ago, like I remember after the 2020 election, like like my like liberal friends be like, oh well, they're gonna decriminalize pot. They're gonna decriminalize pot, and I'm like, no, they're not. They're not gonna do that shit. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, nothing ever came of that. And then I heard like it was like a week before the election. Oh, they're talking about rescheduling it, and I'm like, oh, they're finally getting around to it a week before the fucking election, huh?
Yeah.
Go fucking figure. Like fuck you all, dude.
Well, you
Fuck.
could end up
Not
like
you guys, you
Indiana,
guys.
where they legalized certain aspects and cannabis and cannabinoids, and then the like uber conservative Christians realized that cannabis is the same thing as marijuana and tried to walk it back and be like, no, we didn't mean to legalize that. And so then you had all this like big legal fight over what was and what wasn't cannabis and cannabinoids and what is and isn't legal, and like how Delta 8 and Delta 9 and all the different stuff. And so now it's like, now it's all in this gray area where nothing really is or isn't legal anymore. But it's not necessarily illegal, but it's also not really legal. A lot of companies have stopped testing for it because it's such a gray area that like they can't figure out what the fuck they want to do with it, because they didn't.
Do you really want to hire some of your best people because they might show up positive for fucking pot? You know what I mean? Like, I know people are like, yeah, I don't drug test because then I have to fire people. Like the people, they might be people I don't want to fucking fire. That's why, like random drug tests. It's just if you want to fire somebody, give them a random drug test. Hopefully it'll come up.
I worked construction. I know. Some of our best guys may have popped for something else too, though. So we need like a new Reefer Madness propaganda movie to like reverse, some of the thinking. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass right now.
To make people not want to smoke pot again?
No, just like
pot
reverse,
too
like
far?
because that one was, like the whole pushback then, where it's like when they were like changing it to what it was, the whole Citizen Kane guy with the newspapers didn't want competition, so he went after hemp.
Right.
That's I don't know how much of this is true, because like I've done like
I think there were several
research.
avenues. I mean, there were several different people who wanted it, illegal for one reason or another. And then also how history's taught might be people who wanted to be taught for one reason or another too. Like it was racism, and then there's the paper, and then there's it was oil industry and this and that. I'm like, well, and the alcohol industry, and I'm like, it was probably a little bit of all of them. I mean, they all met in the same smoke-filled rooms. And what if that video of the hemp fenders that Henry Ford had? What if that was just another way to attack him too? Because how he like got smeared with the supporting the Nazis thing too. Yeah.
What, Henry Ford was a Nazi?
No, he wasn't. He was a great American. He just got smeared because he was a good businessman.
Oh man, I would have thought more highly of him.
And the bankers hate him. That's why.
He wrote that book called like The International Jew or something, right? That was
good
him.
book.
I haven't read it. I'm sure you guys have.
Not on that shelf right there.
I mean, it doesn't look like a thick book. You can probably flip through it in an afternoon. I'd check it out.
That's not on the shelf. It's behind the bead curtain.
Yeah.
Keep it on the shelf that stays out of the view of the camera. Some certain things you don't want accidentally showing up. Like if somebody zooms in on this shelf back here, they might find some, nerdy shit. But see, that's why this shelf over here stays off screen.
You have to build up to it.
The Dragon Brand dildos are.
You can't let that one be the icebreaker.
I always do a quick check. I'm like, oh, it's a mess, but at least it shouldn't be anything too incriminating.
All right. So anyway, I don't know why. I'll share another work story.
All right, what you got, buddy?
We had this like really, really flamboyant fellow come in to get work done for his sugar daddy's car. And
nice. Go on.
Got a hustle going. I respect it. Yeah.
Piece of shit Lexus. Anyway, we have to put
Sounds
a spare
right,
on because we can't repair the tire and we didn't have anything in stock. And we also had to find the wheel lock keys. So how nobody knows they have one, so you got to go fucking rummage through all their shit just to find it because they have no clue what you're talking about. And then so like just opening the door, just like laying in the floorboard was a giant pink dildo that had what I didn't like test it or really investigate, but it looked like there was like shit on it.
Didn't take a nail file, take a little bit off, send it off to the lab.
Yeah, I was like, fucking hey.
I mean, it'd be weirder if there wasn't shit on it. I mean, I don't know.
But at least have some dignity. Just don't have that laying on the floorboard. Like
I hear you. Wash it off. I mean, if nothing else, have respect for your own car.
Do you know how many webcam? You know how many webcam whores we've worked on their cars that like you open it up, and there's all these toys. Like we'll get a good giggle, because we're a bunch of dudes, and then we just move on about our day. This one was just like, Jesus Christ, man, have some dignity.
You had a hard time eating dinner that night. It just really disturbed you. It's different.
Yeah,
we didn't laugh about this one. We all just went about our day and we're a little more depressed. Yeah, man. I definitely don't miss working like retail in a lot of ways, but there was just a lot more like exciting, interesting shit that happened doing that. Working on cars, and dealing with general people. We found. Let's see, there was a guy who had some wigs in his car. That was kind of weird. I don't know. Nobody who was like very secretly gay. There was one guy, this black dude. He was a trip, very like southern black guy gay, and he dressed like a dude, and all that. But it was Friday, and we finished his car and gave him he's like, all right, now it's Friday. I gotta get a dress on and get my ass over to Plant City. I was like, what? Like we're supposed to know what he was talking about. I don't know if there was.
He's on his way over to Ybor.
Yeah, I mean Plant City's halfway between. Maybe that's where you get started.
Yeah,
get the night started in Plant City.
That's where you end up in Ybor City.
Yep. We had. I know I told the story on here before. We had a guy who, over the course of a couple of years that he was coming to us, was apparently transitioning. And this was a while back. This was like 2010, maybe before-ish. So, before things got too crazy with that. But yeah, at first it was like, oh, you guys notice Kevin paints his nails? Whatever, And then it's like, the next time it's like, they kind of look like Kevin had boobs, and then, one day it was just, who is this homely woman who looks kind of familiar in my store? And then it was Tammy. Which is very nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice,
I have really tried to make a point not to speak ill. Here, Jay's got something before I speak ill of somebody.
Oh, dope.
So he was telling me about that guy, so it just kind of reminded me of this.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women, sex with men.
And I got news for you. She gay.
Oh my God. This realization you just struck me with. It's totally got me disillusioned.
Well, they added the music to it, so that the music wasn't originally on the show, but that's the edit I've been trying to find. I always end up finding the wrong one, but I finally found the good one.
The music makes it
better with the music.
Better though,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's funny as I'm watching it, I was wondering, I'm like, this has to be somebody editing this music. It's too funny.
So we've talked about, I know before, the like the meme of the dude with the like instruction manual for his new vagina.
Oh, jeez.
Have y'all seen that?
I am aware.
Oh,
okay.
Do I want to?
I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to look it up because it's actually.
Thank you.
Anytime I hear the word dilating that doesn't involve a baby.
Don't. Let's not.
So, I don't.
I'm drinking red wine. Come on, man.
I don't post that anymore.
He's trying to be classy tonight.
So I don't post that anymore, and I don't make fun of that dude anymore because I found out that my wife actually went to high school with that dude, and
okay, yeah.
So he was like married.
Found the video.
Married and had a kid and decided to do all this, and his wife was not supportive of it and ended up committing suicide after he went through with it.
Damn, I wish I would have known that before I called her a bitch.
Right, doesn't have the kid anymore, and she and this dude are like Facebook friends, and he, she, whatever you want to call him, posts like it's just like a constant shit show of life in the toilet. It's a wonder this dude hasn't joined the like 52% or whatever. Like it's fucking insane. Like almost on a weekly basis, it's something else is either wrong with the vagina or just like depression over the wife committing suicide, or like the kid not having the kid access to the kid anymore. Like it's a fucking like, it's a like tragedy, and like I like to the point that like I can't like anytime I see the meme, I'm like, God, like that's just like if you knew the full story, you would never post it again. Like I can't I can't bring as horrible of a person as I am, I can't bring myself to post it ever again.
Well, you were
a little too real for Justin.
Yeah. Well, like when we were talking the other day, our little, just me and you show, like, I sympathize for like women that have bought into the fucking feminist bullshit the same way I do with like, these troons. It's fucking, I don't know. I just feel like this is going to be like a dark point of history where people look back and they're going to be like, what the fuck? Why'd you let that happen?
Yeah.
Especially like really pushing it on kids. That's, yeah. I got like 2 big rules in life. Don't fuck with retards and don't fuck with kids.
And by retards, he means mentally challenged, not like
not me, not us guys. We're cool, right?
Those retards. Oh shit. Yeah, man, it's it does you can't think too hard about the things I make fun of because then I feel bad about it. So
right.
But no, I can't take that fire. It's always ultimately a sad thing,
That was what was fucked up about that one, was like I posted it, my wife saw it and like looked really hard at it and was like, oh, I know that guy. We went to high school together. Like we're Facebook friends. And then starts like telling me the whole story of it. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like I didn't need to connect all the dots on this. I just thought it was fucking hilarious. And now I don't think it's hilarious at all. It's
you can't make it personal.
Thanks, honey.
Now it's fucking
it's some
sad.
dude. Yeah. Look, ultimately all comedy is based on human tragedy.
Yeah, it's all, and it's anecdotal. Of course, there's going to be people offended.
Yeah,
right. That's why the Greeks use those 2 faces for the theater.
Man, this comedy isn't so funny. This tragedy is pretty damn hilarious.
Yeah,
weird how that worked out.
Yep. There's I don't know. Sorry, I was gonna start talking about Heinlein. We don't gotta do that.
I mean, we're the ones to do it with if you wanted to.
Oh, I was just saying on in Stranger in a Strange Land, it's a Jungle Book scenario where this human wasn't raised among humans, and the one thing they can't like teach him is how to laugh. He can't figure out how to laugh or what comedy is, and when it finally hits him, it's something like he's at the zoo and sees like I don't know, one monkey like steal another monkey's like peanuts, and the monkey fell down and hurt himself, and he just started laughing like uncontrollably for like a whole day. I'm like, what is? He's like, oh, I get it now. It's about human tragedy. It's it's funny when like bad things happen, but as long as it's not you.
Why the Three Stooges will always be hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. That's comedy. And then that really got me. I started trying to imagine a funny scenario that didn't involve something not going well for another person or being, and I was like, oh yeah, no, there is nothing. I can't think of a single example of something that's funny. That's something bad happening to someone.
That's one of the things I always say. Like, they can't take your sense of humor from you. Like, they can censor and do other bullshit, but I can still laugh at you for being ridiculous or looking silly.
I'm still gonna laugh at the gay ass uniforms they're wearing while they're putting me in the gulag.
Right?
Oh, did your boyfriend press those for you?
Well, it's like, dude, like when the Taliban. All right.
I would say, like, especially like the tragedy being hilarious, especially when you have little kids. and like they do something and like they hurt themselves or they smack themselves. It's like, oh my
Even
God.
better
I have
when
to
it's
leave the room
something you
because I'm
warned
about
them
to piss my
about.
pants.
Yeah. When it's something you warned them about and they still make that same mistake. And then they're like, are you laughing? I'm like, I told you not to.
The universe did my job for me, baby.
Because it's fucking hilarious. That's why. And then they get old enough, they're like, fuck you. Like, watch your language. I'm the one that's allowed to say that, not you.
Well, setting someone up to fail isn't, like that's cruel. So when just nature does that for you, because that's the best lesson you can learn is when you get shocked by the electrical outlet. Your parents can tell you a dozen times, but it's getting shocked, But like tricking your kid into getting shocked isn't like, that's borderline psychotic. But that's when it happens on its own. It's like, yes, thank God. That's just okay. I don't have to worry about that anymore.
But it's like those, it's like those fucking TikTok videos where these fucking hoes or these other guys like, they trying to monetize their kids. Like, oh, I threw a slice of cheese on my kid's forehead. I know he can't walk yet, but isn't that hilarious?
Those are the kids, because especially when they like throw the slice of cheese and it sticks right on the kid's forehead, and the kid's like,
well, I mean, I'm being hyperbolic. That's the first one that came to mind. There's way worse ones out there.
Yeah,
for the sake of comedy,
like, post their kids' meltdowns and shit. That's kind of fucked up. Like, I'm glad that my parents didn't post any of my childhood meltdowns or temper tantrums on the fucking internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, we had a VHS that, like, you saw my wiener at some point when I was like, like a toddler, and I was so embarrassed that existed. God, nobody was ever going to watch that.
I got one of those somewhere out there still too.
I think I went to a thrift store somewhere. Some weirdo has it.
No, it's locked away at my mom's house. But like, how like you had to have those big fucking camcorders back in the day.
Yep, that's what it was, shoulder mounted.
So we had to Mom, you had to lift that heavy thing. You had to hoist it over your shoulder just to film me taking my first like bath.
I was like, why were you letting me walk around naked? Because I was too old to be getting away with that.
Dude, on the farm where I grew up.
Relatives with a video camera. Put some pants on me.
I used to run around in a Speedo, like the little swimming trunk Speedo when I was like first learning how to walk. And it'd be like, all right, go have fun, And I, you learn real hard to stay away from, some of the mean roosters, don't go near the bull. So there was some like, hard life lessons learned, but I'm running out there, looking like I'm fucking baby Tarzan.
Oh, we go out to squirrel camp, and all the old men would be like drinking and playing cards and stuff after we'd have the meal. And me and my brother and my cousin would go out in the woods, and there was a spot where there was this like big creek that ran through the woods, and there was a spot that had just the right angle that you could like slide down it and go right into the water and just make a nice splash. And once you win a couple times and get it good and wet, then you can really get up speed and like hit the water fast and stuff. And so we just sit there and like take off from halfway across the woods and run and just dive head first and hit this hit the slope down into the water, and we just end up covered in mud and creek water and shit and everything. And then my grandmother would like come wandering out through the woods and find us and beat the hell out of us with a stick, throw us in the back of my granddad's truck and take us back, and then get us back to the house and just strip us down out of our clothes and hose us off out in the yard. And like,
well, yeah, you don't want to get the rug dirty.
That's right.
So I have a question about this story. What is squirrel camp?
So it's where all the old farmers would go.
It's like a hunting club, but
but for rednecks, like a redneck hunting club.
Okay. Did they specifically hunt squirrels, or was that just like the name of it?
It would start when squirrel season came in, because in Kentucky, squirrel season
Squirrel Valley.
came in. Yeah, squirrel season came in August.
Acorn Ridge.
And then rabbit season came in later, and then deer season comes in November. But when squirrel season comes in, that's when they all start getting together, and like they would all go squirrel hunting in the morning, and then get together at the guy who the casino story from earlier. They would get together at his house because he used to be the game warden back in the 70s. So they'd all get together at his house with all of their haul for the day, and then they would all like skin and dress out all the squirrels that they had gotten, and then go down to the camp and either make a stew or fry them up. They'd make biscuits and gravy and fried potatoes and everything else, whatever they were having. They'd have a fire, and they'd all have coolers of beer and moonshine, and they'd sit around and drink and play cards all day. And then
I've only ever met one cool game warden. And hey, for those of you watching, I said met. I'm sure there's still some cool one of you guys out there. Just in case we run into into each other.
Feel free to slide into his DMs.
Yeah.
But so like they would, this is what they would do every day. And when dove season came in, they'd organize big dove hunts in the afternoons and stuff. And like,
fuck, dude. Like Dag, have you ever been dove hunting? Like I can't, like with a bunch of people, it is one of the most fucking fun things ever. I can't say that enough.
Nope, never done it. Somebody does. They do dove hunts somewhere near me. I've seen signs.
But
I haven't.
The
I
dove
haven't
hunts
done
always
much hunting that
too,
isn't on the farm.
because they would always have like a tent and a table set up. So like you would have the field where everybody's hunting, but then there's the tree line over there. And if you take like 2 big steps into the tree line, there's a tent set up with a table, and all the guys who aren't hunting are sitting under the tent playing cards and drinking. It's all just like a big social club, like hangout and an excuse to drink and play cards, basically.
Some might say it looks like one of my family reunions on my dad's side.
Just might also be shooting some shit at any given moment. And a lot of times they would send all of us kids out, like all of the kids were the ones who were out there actually like shooting dove. All the old men are in the woods playing cards and drinking, and they're like, yeah, keep shooting. Like once you get your limit, now you're working on your dad's limit. And then once you get your limit, now you're working on your granddad's limit. And
you're the bird dog for them too.
Yeah, they're not leaving the fucking card table. Like as the kid, it's exciting as shit for us because like we get to shoot all the dove we fucking want.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's a limit?
Dude, it's a blast.
And when the game warden is sitting under
you need a lot for that.
And when the game warden is sitting under the tent around the table too, it's like he doesn't give a shit, so nobody cares.
So how do you cook dove?
So it's one of those birds where it's mostly breast meat. You can eat the whole thing like a little Cornish. You can.
Gotcha.
Like
woodcock and stuff. You just take the breast meat.
Take the breast, fry it, batter it up, fry it.
I do a spicy mustard mixed with cornmeal that I use if I want to fry it and do a breading. But also I like to take the breast and put like a slice of cream cheese, some jalapeno, and then wrap that in butter. And then that just is awesome on the grill.
Ooh, fuck. That reminds me of you know what I've been eating lately when I'm out and about? If I see a Vietnamese place, a banh mi, the sandwich. You ever had one of them?
Yeah.
It's like, it's all like Asian food, but on a sandwich, like a really good roll, and it'll be like meat, and then like a big fat fucking slice of jalapeno, and like a slice of cucumber, and like cream cheese, and some carrots and onions.
There was
so fucking good.
There was a local to Chicago chain I used to go to. I can't remember the name. Me and my boys I used to play Call of Duty with online, and Warcraft. We'd all get together, and every St. Patrick's Day in Chicago. And there's this one spot we would always go to, and it would have traditional Korean food, but it would also have like fat guy Polish, like Chicago Americanized Korean food too.
Bears.
Yeah, so you can get like a fucking badass like bulgogi sub.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds fat.
Bulgogi's a beef, Korean beef dish. It's fucking amazing. If you guys ever came here,
okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah,
bulgogi how it's pronounced.
And garbi are the 2 big nice beef dishes that Koreans have. Garbi is the short ribs. Bulgogi is like strips of beef.
Yes, I like that at the Korean barbecue places.
One thing that's kind of cool is so my mom still raises beef cows back in Virginia, and the only butcher that she's got that's like honest and worth a damn near her now happens to be a Mennonite man. And what's really cool is he does like ethnic cuts too. So whenever we get like a half a beef or something, like he'll do all the Korean garbi cuts for us with the ribs and everything. It's kind of cool,
Oh yeah. Well, like I get it really causes me a lot of overthinking when I like process like a goat or something like the first couple I did because I've got like this great butchering book and it has like 5 different ways to like cut up a goat depending on like what you're making, you know. And so I try to cut, try to plan, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with any of it. I'm still learning, especially with the goat and everything. And I'm like, oh man, do this and that. And then as I'm cutting it, I'm thinking, oh man, I think I might have did this a little incorrectly. And then I'm like, who the fuck cares? Like, I'm not like selling this shit in like a high-end butcher shop. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck? And now for the most part, I'd like cut off like the nice roasts and like otherwise, like almost everything else, I just fucking grind, take out a big leg roast for like the crock pot. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna do the square cut method of doing the, and then I can make a shoulder roll where you take the, a Boston style rib thing where you break the ribs with the mallets and you roll it up and stuff. And I'm like, what the
Sean got that deer over the weekend, and so I made him help my brother like skinning it and getting all the hide off of it and everything. But once we got the skin off of it, I let my brother is really good at getting the loins out, and then I'm pretty good at chunking off a lot of the other meat, getting some of the nice big roasts and stuff, and like getting the shoulders and everything, and so I get in and start like finding my lines and cutting stuff and everything. And once I get like the nice pieces that I know I can get, after that, then you're just like chunking shit off. And he's like, well, what are you getting there? What's that? I was like, I don't know. It's fucking meat. I'm just cutting it. I'm just cutting everything off that I can get. I'm like,
it's the trilateral bicepsis muscle.
See those nice big pieces that we put in that bag over there. Those are the ones that are actually like cuts. Everything else from here out is just me chunking off nice big pieces of meat that I find that are easily accessible that I can get without like accidentally, fucking something up, puncturing something. Now we have.
Now, Justin, if the boy's interested in cutting meat, like more so than you are, don't dissuade him from not wanting to know what those muscles are and do it, man. Meat cutting is a phenomenal skill that's dying out, man. I mean, he's got the body type of someone who would be great at handling meat. That's sorry, that came out wrong. At being like, meat, he looks like he eats well. You know what I mean? So
boy likes
we were talking about
Bobby Hill on King of the Hill joined the meat judging club and was excellent at it. That's all I'm saying.
We were talking about I don't know how it came up. He shared some reel, and it was like talking about kinks and stuff. I was like, oh man, like wrists, so like wrists can be really sexy, and I like just being weird, like rubbed his wrist. I was like, oh, not that though. I was like, keep those dick beaters away from me. And he's like, what? Apparently that was the first time he'd ever heard dick beaters in reference to his hands.
So this might be I don't know, not among my family, controversial opinion, but like my favorite cut of deer is like I love making a nice backstrap steak.
Mm-hmm.
That's
rare as fuck.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did with ours. I cut them into nice strip steaks and then tenderized them, breaded them, and made and this was at his request, made some like country fried steaks out of them.
Oh, okay, that's what that was. Okay. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I love those. Dag, have you actually, so you're talking about grinding, have you actually made goat sausage yet?
No, I haven't.
Or are you just using
I made my last batch of sausage, about a year ago, but I want to start, I think it was before we had goat meat, but I want to get back into doing, or actually do some batches of sausage. And I want.
Have you made any goat chili?
We had made spaghetti, or spagote as we call it, one night, and the next night made hot dogs, and I made chili, and I took the leftover, goat spaghetti sauce and put it in the chili because it's basically the same thing, tomato sauce, etc., etc. So that's a long way of saying not really, but kinda, but no. Why? What you got? You got a goat chili recipe for me?
Well, no, my chili recipe works for whatever. But you have to have...
it's basically beef. You just treat the goat like beef.
You just gotta. I like to add, even if I'm making like deer chili, I like to add like beef fat or pork fat.
Put some brisket in that motherfucker.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah. Brisket's good chili meat. A good multi-meat chili. That's the way to go. Getting to be chilly season. Getting to be chilly weather.
I would call it multi meat.
Yeah.
So we used to watch diners, drive-ins, and dives all the time, and
Flavor Town, hell yeah.
there was one that he went to some like breakfast place, and the dude was making like a big thing of gravy. And I make gravy all the time, but this guy, like, basically what he did was he took bacon, sausage, and like country ham and chopped it all up into like nice pieces and chunks and throws it all in a skillet and just cooks it all. And then he dumps all of the meat with the grease and everything into a big pot, throws some flour and milk in there and gets it stirred up, and then adds flour and milk until he gets enough gravy made to the consistency that he's looking for. And
sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. Why did I never think of this? So, like, I've made gravy like that a few times since then. And last time I made it, they were having like a brunch at the church that the kids go to with their mom. And I was like, Katie, like, what do I need to take for this brunch? Like, I don't want to just like show up for the brunch not bringing anything. Like, I don't go to this church anyway. I really feel like uncomfortable just showing up and eating their food and not bringing anything. And she's like, you don't have to bring anything. I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm making biscuits and gravy. So I made the gravy that way. It was gone. Like no gravy was left over. That it got straight run through, which kind of surprised me because it's a pretty progressive church. I suspect there's a lot of vegans or non-meat eating types, and they mowed that gravy down. So
no gravy left behind.
Like, make sure everybody knows, like, there's meat in this gravy. Like, it's got ham and sausage. Like, it's got all the meat. This is not vegan gravy. I don't know if there is such a thing as vegan gravy. I can't imagine it would be any good. But
I mean, I'm sure if you get the package, it's almost vegan gravy. If you just package gravy, I mean, that's just powder.
Yeah, but I always add sausage to that anyway. Like,
well, I hope.
You better compliment the cook, motherfucker.
Oh, vegans. Are they still around?
Dude, I had a funny vegan story from when I was college age. So I was at I stopped by one of the Subways, that great paradise of fresh sandwiches, and
eat fresh, buddy.
Yep. Yeah. That's why I've gotten food poisoning there so many times.
Hey, but you keep coming back. That's
just before I think I'm out, they pull me right back in.
Testament, yeah. Look, man, I want to give them 1 star, but I got to give them a 5-star because they got me. They're so good. Just keep coming back. Can't stay away.
So there's these chicks, and you could tell, like when you're young and impressionable, how you get around a group of friends and you want to like impress them or be like them or whatever. And you could tell that like becoming vegan was like a new thing for them. So he's like asking the sandwich artist, their words, not mine, like the actual Subway company, but they were asking them, is that vegan? Is that vegan?
Heroes.
As like they were making the sandwich, and then finally gets to the end, she's like, I guess I'll just have some mayonnaise. And like the rest of the friend group was like, oh yeah, great. They're like patting themselves on the back for eating vegan. And like I didn't have the heart in me to ruin it because I thought it was funny, just to keep my mouth shut and like let a vegan eat eggs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're not fertilized eggs, then it's fine. I don't know, man. And I mean, hey, there's a good chance there's not even anything resembling an egg in Subway mayonnaise.
Imitation egg.
Don't think it's real mayonnaise.
Made from the same tuna they make imitation crab from.
Yeah. I was in a Chipotle recently, and there's, they had like the meats and like the beans, and I'm like, oh, let me get the steak meat, and then there's like the 2 beans and another bin that kind of look like beans, and I was like, what's that? And they're like, oh, it's like tofu and beans and stuff. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Give me, the other one, I pointed the other one. Like, oh, are you sure you don't want that? And I'm like, God, no. Like, no, like I was like offended that they like asked me a second time. I was like, I was just curious what the heck it was. And then the fact I even had to ask what it was, that it was so unidentifiable as a food substance, should have been my first clue.
Yeah, honestly, the last food poisoning event at Subway actually was the last time I've eaten there, and it's fuck. I'm sure I'm gonna slip one day. Lord Jesus help me. I know I'm
Dude, it's
American,
just one of those
but
places.
that
It doesn't pop up on my radar like at all. Like if I'm looking for somewhere to eat, it won't even like cross my vision. And, like I'll look right over it. It's like a viable place.
mostly it's
been a
mostly
long
that's
time.
how it for me. But like these two times, it was like a
It
weird
happens,
time.
man.
Yeah.
It really is the closest place. If I wanted to eat from my house, there's a gas station like 5 miles from here that has a Subway in it. And it's like more expensive than a typical Subway because it's like the only food for miles kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you got to stay away from those food deserts that always have a Subway in them.
Okay, bro. So I was listening to the Black Power show last Sunday. We're talking about it. You have the Dragon Ball guy. And it's a bunch of people on there complaining about shit that they could probably fix if they tried. But they're talking about like food deserts and how there's no good grocery stores. In low income areas. Let's just call it in Tampa. Specifically. And they got people calling, complaining. Some people are like, "Oh man, like you got it's tough. Like grocery stores are like 2% profit margin, and it's really the big boys game, which is true.
Yeah.
And low income areas they have a big problem with shrinkage. So it makes it more not really profitable to operate there. So kind of like you should be happy that anybody has a store there. Dollar General or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, we should just be happy with what we got, huh?" And blah, blah, blah. And they're like just bitching about it, like how nobody's going to just open a store there at a loss for them, with fresh produce. So then we're just supposed to go back to the gas station and eat us some chips? I don't think so. And I'm like, then start a grocery store. Then start a fucking grocery store. Then open a goddamn grocery store. Like I'm like yelling, I got my truck because it's where this sound
Well,
is
they're really missing the spirit of this past holiday we just celebrated.
Yeah. and but there was like somebody who called and he's like, "Hey man, like," he's like, do this," and like talking about like localized like cryptocurrency and this and that and co-ops and stuff like that, and trying to sort of nudge him into like do
a positive direction.
Yeah, a solution instead of just complaining about white supremacy. There's a big thing in Tampa with a lot of they're discovering a lot of black cemeteries that were just sort of built over in like the 20s, built on top of with other stuff. And now that they're sort of refreshing some of the buildings and the area is growing, they're discovering a lot of these old black cemeteries. And so, a lot of people get upset about like, racism because it's obviously only happening because of racism. But yeah, they're talking about that. Like, yeah, white supremacy. That's why that's happening. I'm like, I don't know, man. Nobody's like, yeah, build on top of them darkies' graves. Like nobody's saying that, dude. Like, I think it's just inconvenient old cemeteries that like they're unidentifiable bodies. Like, we can't build.
No
like,
one, no one can come
under
forth.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's all over the country.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I imagine the same thing probably happens everywhere because there's old cemeteries everywhere. It's just as long as it's if it's I'm trying to not say this where I sound like some old like I'm trying to sound like some old racist boomer. You know what I mean?
You're
as long
fine.
as there's white cemeteries, nobody cares. It's not.
No.
There's no issue if it's not.
You're being objective.
If it's Native American or black folk, then there's some sort of stigma.
Or you could just be like
their graves.
You could just be like Canada and just make up a bunch of like Indian burial grounds to like push policy, and then like 2 or 3 years later, it's like, yeah, it was all made up.
Really, like there was the whole hullabaloo about the.
You remember when that was kind of big for a bit? Yeah.
You're saying that was just
some evidence. Some evidence came out later that was like, yeah, we have no like. Yeah, we did find bodies, but we have no factual evidence that these were just like mass graves. This might have just been a cemetery where they buried their dead.
Well, like there was something like that. I think it was around here. Probably happens all over. Same kind of thing where it was like an old like like Catholic orphanage or something for like 200 years, and it's like they found mass graves out back, so they must have been doing terrible things. And it's like I don't know, man. Like, what else do you do when people die? You know, like take them out back and bury them. Like, I don't know, man. They're orphans. Like, there's no, I mean, just from a practice, and especially back then, we're talking about hundreds of years. I mean, you put them in the fridge to keep them until they do a proper autopsy and burial and ship them off to their whatever. Like, no, you bury them in the fucking back and you don't say nothing about it.
Especially if it was like an actual pandemic event, you know, where people are just getting like murked by some disease, you know, like sometimes that happens. That's why you get like a bunch of people with the last name buried next to each other. That's what I found when I like look at some of this old stuff.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
I've toiled with the idea of designating a partition of my family's land for like a family burial ground. Because there's also like I'm gonna come up front and be like, I'm sure there's like some sort of like legal reason that could like give me a tax break, but also like that family has been in my land for like generations. And I kind of want to just keep us there.
Right.
Because, you know, there's something, you know, that's like deep within us, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know if epigenetics is real. Maybe it is. I'm leaning towards maybe it is, where we have like this like ancestral memory built into our DNA.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it is, but I don't want to sound too woo-woo. So
yeah.
I don't know where to go with those thoughts, because it could also just be some natural phenomena thing, psychology, what the fuck ever. I don't know.
Well, that's what's cool. Like you throwing out your white nationalist points, me talking about family burial. You know, we're among friends here. We could just kind of like bounce ideas off each other.
You know, some of them more socially acceptable than others. I do. Okay, I do have like sort of like memories of things that I know, like don't remember, you know, wasn't there. But I'm more like, oh, was it a dream or just something like I imagined when I was tripping one time or something, you know? But yeah, like, you know, like places or something. And then I remember one time watching it was like the Scandinavian cooking show or some shit. And like where they were, I was like, holy shit, that's like not like I remember that rock or anything, you know, crazy like that. But that kind of like thing
just feels like home.
Yeah, or just like I have like a memory of being not necessarily there, but somewhere that looks similar. Which honestly, I'm doing some other, you know, research of family lineage. Probably could put it at a place where I actually do have like, you know, DNA tests to show like I'm sort of from. But you know, again, I'm not. Who fucking knows? You know?
Exactly. Like I'm not here like being, you know, saying I know exactly everything. You know, I just like to ask questions, and I think that's what you're talking about, like the socially acceptable stuff. Like I just like to ask questions, and like I'm not allowed to ask some questions or notice certain things. You know what I mean?
I just notice things and ask questions, man. That's all.
Right.
Yeah. I hear you. I think that I've heard epidemiological thing, whatever the word was you used. However, like whatever like evolution is or whatever, like it does like fascinate me, and I do feel like there has to be some sort of memory like that, you know, going on for that. Just like instincts, like looking at instincts in animals. You know, you raise farm animals and they have like no instincts compared to wild animals, but seeing them like instinctively do things or raise children or what the fuck ever just always blows my mind. And then dog breeds, that there's different dog breeds that are bred to do different things, that do those different things instinctually, is incredible, because that's not when, you know, people talk like evolution and we're like, that's silly, and they're like, but it's over millions and millions of years. I'm like, okay, I guess it's a better argument at that point. But us breeding dog breeds over the course of a couple of thousand years, you know, at the most, that, I mean, that's some sort of like memory. It's not, oh, this dog's kind of good at barking at stuff, so let me breed it again. You know what I mean? Like there's, you know, I don't know, man. It's just
maybe there's like questions to like argue with Darwin about some of the theses he came to. Yeah, but like there's something there that you're not allowed to discuss, because if you do that, then it's like, oh, you're pro-evolution, you're an atheist, or you're this Bible thumper that's like anti-evolution. You know what I mean? Like I said, I like to ask questions.
Yeah, it is one of the things, and I noticed that years ago. Like, and it's one of the things that always really makes me question something when it's something you're not supposed to, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole Darwinian thing, like, it's like you know, it's like on the level of like flat Earth kind of thing.
Mm.
You know, where you're just like the biggest fucking idiot. You know what I mean? And I'd say that people who question evolution are much less of dingbats than people who are flat earthers. You know, in general, I think it's a more fair assumption. Even though I love the concept of not having a globe-shaped Earth because it's really fun to imagine. But yeah, man, it's just one of those. I don't know. It just blows my mind that it's just that unquestionable. Now it's just anybody who acts like almost anything is that unquestionable is I'm gonna make fun of you, and I'm probably gonna pretend like I'm gonna, if you're a total like diehard globe earther, I'm gonna kind of pretend to be a flat earther. And I'm not much of a troll typically. You guys know me, you know, but I'm gonna, you know, I'm just gonna ask them questions that they can't answer.
You get that contrarian gene like I do.
Yeah, and then it gets them upset, and then I'm just like, hey man, I don't know. I've never been to space. I don't know. Somebody in a classroom told me that the Earth's round at one point. That's really all I got to go on here.
Well, you get a lot of that too. It's like nobody knows what being humble is, or just be like, you know, yeah, it's an interesting idea. You know, you ask the questions, and it's like, yeah, but I'm not saying I have the answers. I just want to pose that question.
Yeah. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is cereal a soup? What, you know this?
I don't know. What did Alan say? He's got those fucking hypotheticals.
Yeah. Yeah, he was doing a bunch of those. I probably got both those from him. Well, the cereal soup, the hot dog a sandwich, that one's been around a while.
What was his lasagna one that he asked Tom Woods?
There's one about a salad too.
Yeah.
Is lasagna cake or something like that?
I think that's right. Yeah. I don't know.
Sunday is salad. I don't know.
It's fluffy if you put enough ricotta in it. So maybe it does have that cake-like fluffiness. All right, I'm not entertaining that thought. Fuck that.
I'm out of wine, guys. How you doing?
Dandy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got enough alcohol to last me for the next 6 days, but that's only because, you know, I had 12 straight days off. So I definitely don't want to drink all that tonight because we're too far away from a hospital for all that shit.
Oh, we could just end it and just shoot the shit.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Cool. I've been enjoying getting a lot of sleep here lately. I think I might continue with that trend.
I'm super jelly.
Yeah. So I've been doing stuff around here and doing family nonsense, and otherwise just laying around watching retarded fucking movies.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.